I met a man, my present husband, and we got engaged. We bought a house in April of 2013, and we had the intention of being able to close on the house within 4 weeks so that we would have a few weeks to get moved in and settled in before we held our marriage, our wedding at the house, with family and everybody coming over. But the closing kept getting delayed and everything. And finally on the 31st, we were getting married on June 2nd. Finally on the 31st, we closed on the house. And we went over to his house to get his house packed up and moved in. He was living in Richmond, Indiana at the time. And he got a phone call that his mom was in the hospital. We had just found out, I think a few weeks before that she had advanced breast cancer. None of us knew it. I don't know how long she knew it, but it was a complete shock. Surely she knew at that point or before that point, but we don't know. So we spent Saturday trying to put the house together, and my husband went and visited his mom, and Sunday we got married. Then we spent the rest of the week kind of moving me bit by bit and me packing and visiting her in the hospital. And then Friday we got the U-Haul and we were going to move me totally into the house. Well, she was going downhill rapidly that day. And so I hired two bozos through a company, and that just added to my stress and everything else. But anyway, that's beside the point. So she ended up passing away on the 7th. And so all this, good was being mixed in with the bad, and I kept praying and everything, mostly for comfort, because I didn't know what else to pray for. There was good and there was bad, and we were so sad. I mean, it was just such a shock. She had been okay in our minds just before that. Well, it wasn't very long after that, like days, that I discovered I had a lump. And so with everything that we had just gone through with her, I thought, I am not going to wait and see like we tend to do. I was going to, I called the doctor the next day, and she saw me within the week, got me signed up for mammogram and CT scan. And I went in, I should say my gynecologist gave me several reassurances, and plus I had looked at my symptoms and everything, and I was pretty confident that the lump was nothing, but I still, after what happened to my mother-in-law, I didn't want to put this off. And so, like I said, I went to have a mammogram and a CT scan, and the mammogram, the technician said, everything looks fine. It's nothing. She says, but I'm going to send this to the radiologist, and he'll look it over and give me a call back, and you can wait in the waiting room. And I was dressed and waiting in the waiting room. And the lady who did the CT scan didn't say much, but still it was reassuring. I don't know if I said I had had a needle biopsy a couple of years before this, and it was fine. It was nothing. So I expected this to be the same. And so I'm waiting in the waiting room, and this other woman comes out. She's still in her robe, and she looks so sad, and I'm just praying for her, thinking, she must know that she has cancer, so I was praying for her. I should have reached out to her and prayed with her, but at the time I wasn't that bold feeling in my faith, especially with everything that had been going on. I was more of a pray to myself kind of person. And so I went and I waited quietly, and the technician came, and she said, yeah, he said it looks fine, nothing to worry about. If anything comes up, we'll give you a call. So that was probably, I don't know, that was a midweek. And so I had to wait through the whole weekend. And then my gynecologist gave me a call back, and she said, it's probably nothing, but I want you to see a surgeon. And I'm like, why a surgeon? And she says, well, because you should have a needle biopsy. I'm pretty sure that's what you need to do, but I don't want to make that call. He'll look at you. And I thought, well, I had a needle biopsy before and I didn't need to see a surgeon, but whatever. And so I made the appointment. Another week went by, and I went and met him and talked to him, and he's like, I'm sure it's nothing. And they're throwing some statistics at the time out, 90% of the time this ends up being nothing, but, just to be safe. And so I prepared myself to have a needle biopsy again, but with a lot more seeming to be, going on in the background. It didn't seem to be as easy as the first one. I was starting to feel more concerned and everything. Before all this, when I would have stress and anxiety in my life, I would listen to some guided meditations. And I'd listen to this one lady who would take me, down a path, and then that path would lead to a beautiful tree. And I always imagined the tree as a tulip poplar tree, which we had next to our house at the time. And then she would say, you enter the tree and the ground is all soft and you can lay down on the ground and look up and see the sky, and it's just, full of sunshine, and the whole process would take, 20, 30 minutes, and I would feel just totally at peace by the time I got there. And so I tried doing that on the days preceding the needle biopsy, but it just wasn't doing any good. So I gave it up, the day or two before. And then when I got to the place to have the needle biopsy, the technician got me all set up and everything, waiting for the radiologist to come in and perform the actual biopsy. And she got me all situated and turned just so and everything. And she said, now, just close your eyes and go to your happy place. And I'm thinking, happy place? I don't have a happy place. And I sure as heck don't have a happy place right now. I was just, my heart was pounding, and, I was just trying to be so calm about the whole thing. And so I closed my eyes and I thought, okay, I'm walking down the path, and I'm hurrying down the path. I see my tree. I hurry into the tree, and I lay down and I look up at the sky, and my heart's still pounding. And at this point, I'm aware that the radiologist is getting ready to do his thing, and I'm sitting there in my mind, looking up at the sky, feeling no hope. Feeling that I had to admit to myself that this was going to be positive, that I was going to have breast cancer, that I did have breast cancer. And Jesus scooped me up in his arms. I felt him. He sat down in a rocking chair, holding me in his arms, in his lap, in that tree, and was rocking me and comforting me. I tried to look up at his face, but I couldn't make out a face. I could only see sunlight. And so I looked up to the sky, and he rocked me, and I felt the needle pierce my skin. And just all of a sudden, I was at peace. At that moment, with all that going on, in his arms, I was at peace. And so Christ has changed my life. He is constantly changing my life. And I encourage you that if you don't have that relationship with Christ, if you have a hole, an emptiness in you, that you feel a longing to be filled, please reach out to me to a nearby church, to any believer that is in your community, in your circle, and let us talk to you about what it is like to live with Christ in your life. He will change your life, and it will be it's joy and it's peace, and it is just having that hope, a hope in eternal life, hope in you just have this hope in Him. You can give everything up to Him. He is constantly working in my life. I think it's Philippians 1:6 is like, He who has begun a good work in you. I'm sorry, I don't remember the rest, but he will continue working in you, and as you go through life, it will be so much better having Him in your corner. So please reach out to one of us. I will post the link in the comments. God bless you.